no fans of the ambient reverb. Saying that, noticing how hype I am because I'm actually excited about reverb in this one in particular. I just read a Facebook post where people talk, a German thread on who's your favorite YouTuber guy. I'm only 2 behind Pete Thorne. That makes me very happy. Not because I dislike Pete, but because I worship him so much that being close to him, you know, not sexually. Anyway, and there are a few people that said, I can't take more than 4 seconds of Henning. He annoys the living crap out of me. And you know what? I get that. But I know if they got to the 7th second a couple times, they'd probably like what I do. If they had coffee with me, they'd probably like me. I think so. I mean, I can be annoying. Cringe-worthy, some people say. I don't know why, just because I wear an ugly sweater. And that is ugly, Leslie says. I love this thing. I actually really bought this because I liked it. But hey, what do I know? So, before we get to the Fathom, and I can't fathom how awesome it is. That's wordplay. It feels very strange to do this because I actually, all this stuff, up to 3 minutes from now, I already did, but I didn't have my mic on. So I'm really just going through the whole routine again, which just feels very strange because I never plan any of this. I just talk. But I want to bitch about something. The instructions for the Fathom, where I can't fathom how much fun it is. Leslie, put it on the screen, come on. There's the Fathom. I can't fathom, okay, well, enough of that. Instructions, look at this. It's a piece of paper, crumpled up, folded up, printed on a black and white monochrome laser. Now this is something I'm going to say not particularly about Walrus audio, just in this case it comes up, but I'm gonna bitch about stuff. I'm gonna go into rant mode. Rant mode on! Oh. We have 1, 2, 3, up to 70 cats. We have a lot of them. So Itchy, one of our cats, I think that was clear, now has diabetes, which is something about eating things and I don't know what it is. It means he can die. So Leslie bought a little diabetometer. It measures things. So you have to like stab the cat and then it bleeds out and then you scoop up all the blood and put it in the machine and the machine says cat is dead or not dead. It's kind of like a Schrödinger thing. Anyway, so this is a piece of technology. Plastic, has a display on it, a thing where you put the little stabby thing in where you measure the blood with, and it's a lab in a little case. It comes in a little zippy case. Everything is in there, instructions, and it's a lab. It's a complicated piece of equipment with a computer and a display and all that stuff. It costs $19.99. It's $20. Now, I don't want to say that these pedals that we buy are too expensive. Absolutely not. But essentially, what is in those pedals is not complicated technology. It really isn't. One of the reasons why these pedals are more expensive than any other piece of technology is that they simply don't make that many of them. It is a supply and demand thing. For example, let's just put it this way. A color laser printer costs $150, $200. Then you already have a good one with the copier and everything. It has a lot of moving parts, a computer and USB and Bluetooth and wireless and all that stuff. That's as much as one of these pedals. Now, which brings me to the point of Walrus Audio. Sell a pedal and buy a color laser. Because I saw this when you sent this to me as a JPEG and it looked really pretty. This does not represent the level of excellence that I expect from you, especially with the beautiful graphics that you put on your pedals. And I'm getting this. That looks like ass. Get a color printer, people. That goes, by the way, for many other brands, where I might have to go even on the website to find the manual. Just give me everything. It doesn't have to be an extra printed little booklet. It's okay that you print it on a piece of paper. That is cheap and easy to do. But a color one is not expensive, and I'm sorry for what I'm spending on pedals, which are very expensive based on the technology that's in there. It's already, you know, I think you get the point. Hey, so But now we actually get to the reverb, which let me go into ins and outs and everything. Well, there's an top-loaded, which is awesome. Top-loaded in-out power supply thingy. Then we have these switches, we have these swimges, which are soft clicky. So the sustain is a hold it and it sustains. And even the bypass isn't a click, 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 click. It's a... Wait, why is it green and... Or does it just look like that? It looks on, but it's not. This is actually off. I think the camera is reflecting something. So that is on, that is off, even though it looks on. Sorry, that's a camera illusion. We have an X, that's the name of my dog, button, which is a parameter that you don't know what it does. It is different for each of the 4 modes. I would like it if that was printed on the side. Let's go to the side. Thank you. So if that was printed here, what the X does, or here, so that I don't have to remember it. It would be nice, because remembering is crap. Then we have a mod switch, which, switches the modulation. Never off, but low, medium, and a lot. That would be funny. Low, medium, and a lot. We have a dial, which goes from Hall, Plate, Lo-Fi, and S stands for sonar, okay? Which is, well, because, fathom, under the sea. With these things, I would personally like, 4 directions is okay, you can pretty much easily dial that in. I like them when these are clickies, so that you know for sure that you switched. So right now, am I still on H? Am I still on H? Am I now on H? Am I on P? I don't know. This is bitching on a high level, but it would be nice if it went click, 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 click. Again, 4 is okay. If this was 8, I definitely want clickies. So here, how long is your reverb? How dull is your reverb? High-end roll-off. And a mixie, which can be all reverb all the time if you want that. It has a trails mode, which means when you turn it off, the trails will still, you turn it off and the trails will still ring. And you do that, hold down the bypass switch for 2 seconds while applying power to the pedal. So it's easy to do. When the switch is... Oh, that's cool. Momentary functions. So right now it's off, okay? Even though it looks on. If you hold this in and let go, it turns off again. So you can do momentary reverb. You probably want trails for that. And reverb off. Instead of going click, click. So that's why it's not a clicky, clicky switch. That is very cool. Now after all that, let's listen. With this very awesome Schecter Nick Johnson. Beautiful guitar with a Wenge neck and fretboard. It's just a great S-type guitar. We're going into the Morgan AC40, which tomorrow is going to be replaced for an AC20 because it's prettier. It's really all there is. Different Tolex. So the Morgan right there under the angle right there. And we're also going to switch to the Joyo Beale Street, which is the brown thing under the Marshall. So this is the dry sound of the Morgan. And here's the Joyo Beale Street, which is kind of a tweed thing. Those are 2 very typical amp types to use with clean sounds. Where would you use a lot of reverb? Primarily cleans, a little bit overdrive, the more, or leads. But don't use reverb or delay when you do heavy rhythms, because it just muddies it up. On the table I also have a 385. Loud. Which I love. That's just a beautiful, thicky overdrive. Also Walrus audio, of course. So, we'll go into everything up. Hall, here we go. That's a lot of reverb. I have a hunch that this is not the subtle reverb. This is the reverb for I'm here and I'm loud. And that's nice. So, of course, you can dial that. Let me get the dampen. That's more dampened. That is less dampened. Very clear. So this, in the case of the first two reverbs, is pre-delay, which means now the reverb comes immediately. So that's a little bit delay-esque. So let's see. Could you use it a little bit like a slapback thing? I don't know, maybe. But that's not the whole idea. So let's try to get a subtle reverb happening here. That's subtle for... Yes, it does that. Is that what you would primarily use it for? No, you want more. It excels at more. So, pre-delay to the point where it's not delay-esque. And then a lot of decay. And with the subtle mix, that's actually neat. There's a big trail, and still the guitar's right here. But here it gets really interesting. I could sink into that sound for hours. I gotta stop myself because that is so nice. Let's do the same thing with some modulation, or modulation in French. I'm sorry, I do this all the time. I reach for the wibbly wobbly, and then I remember Brian Wampler said, "Don't do that." He's issued a warning to other YouTubers. Don't show modulation and then do this. Good point, because it's the same effect. So thank you, Brian, for being in my head all the time. Let's switch to the other amp. Not that it actually really matters for anything, but we can, so. Well, the amp is more dull, so I actually might want the reverb to brighten it up a bit. Moving on to plate. Now, frankly, where the difference is between hall and plate, there is one. It's a different way of creating a reverb. I don't really know how to describe it in this case. So I'm back to the Morgan now. The hall blooms in the high end. You play it, and then the reverb kind of sparkles into the higher frequencies with the tongue out. I don't know why I did that. And then with the plate, dies off faster in the high end, but the mids seem to come out more. Frankly, they're so close that, to me, a different mode would have been cool, like a spring or something crazy, a tremverb or something like this, because you'd probably either use hall or plate, and then you always go to that, because they're pretty damn close. So the absence of a spring is very obvious here, would have been something to maybe do. Now, how subtle can you get it? And yes, that was Hansen. Good, moving on to lo-fi. Which kind of sounds like a bandpass filter on the reverb, so it's all MIDI. And with the X factor knob here, you can change the filter wididity. I can't say widths. I can't say width. Wididity. Which is really nice. Dampen that. Make it really big. That's a very, very nice, different flavor. Absolutely cool. And now we go to probably something that is very unique to this thing, which is called the sonar mode, because Fathom, DP Dive, bing! They already have the descent, which is a bigger thing. I know they have a bigger thing. That's what, and so on. And the special thing about the descent is that it's not your average reverb, it's a reverb where you can have plus and minus octaves and actually say how much of each and so on. This is built in here, so it's a descent, what's that called? Descent light. So in this case, dialing the X to the left only gives you the lower octave. Dialing it all the way to the right gives you the higher octave. In the track that you heard at the beginning, what I did is I did the lower octave, got the mix all the way up, to simulate kind of like a cello thing. Awesome. So of course if you go to, let's do that thing again, but with high modulation and a lot of decay. let's go more subtle, okay? We'll do both of them in there, medium modulation, and way more subtle. Beautiful, beautiful sound you can get here. I'm gonna go back to the hall, demonstrate an in-the-room sound. So I'm gonna go to my speaker number 10. That's gonna be loud. Holy crap, because it's a 40-watt amp. I'm gonna dial that down a bit. Because a lot of people want to know, what does it sound like in the room? And yeah, now here on HP42's channel, you actually get that. I have a biodynamic stereo mic on the table. That cost me a nice bundle. So that I can actually now wire stuff into the coffee caps 212, right there, the blue thing. And you're hearing the Morgan AC40 with this Fathom thing in front of it through that, yeah, the Morgan? Through the 212 thing. Here we go. The bottom line, make that big, Leslie. Thank you. I love the reverb sounds on here. Are they subtle? Would that be my pick for just a little bit of reverb on the side for an amp that's otherwise totally clean? No, it wouldn't be. I will always, for my standard spring reverb, I will go for the, not Silver Surfer, the Silver Spring reverb from Matt Professor, because that's a great spring reverb and you turn it on and it does what it's supposed to do. This is not for the buyer that's looking for that. This is for lush, big reverbs, volume swells that last forever. You can make it more subtle, but the absence of a spring reverb in the algorithms clearly shows what the intended use is. Oh, I forgot to show the sustain button thing. So let's do that. Wait, 2, 6, here we go. So let's see what it does. It will hold the verb. Nice. Do you always need that? No. Do you sometimes use that? Sure. So the quality of the sounds were great. In the room with that cap and that Morgan and that thing and this thing, I would play that for hours. Just dive into that sea of reverb. For productions, go to that Sonar and actually really just use it to make a beautiful pad. Only the reverb, and use it to make a nice synth-like pad under the guitars. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this thing. Graphics good, guys from the company, totally cool. You know we like to buy from cool people. The only thing, which I ranted for hours about, is this. So Give me a nicer looking manual, come on. That's all I'm saying. Buy a color printer, people. Don't be cheap. Otherwise, everything about this awesome. Please give me the X parameter on the side so I can sneak a quick peek and see what it does. Does it need a spring? I think Hall and Plate are too close. Hall and Church, maybe. Bigger. Plate and Church, maybe. Hall and Plate, rather close. I think instead of the Plate, I would like something like a Tremverb, where, you know, the reverb is modulating in volume, or something like this. A Spring? No, Spring is subtle. Should be, could be, I don't know. It's a great box. I love it. Really fun to play. Thanks for watching. Links below. Animals at the end. Bye-bye.